All right, and we're back. This is episode 18 of the Tap Room, and I am your host, Mike. Fun episode. This one we got for you. It's the one from Ohso Brewing out in Paradise Valley, Phoenix, Arizona. This one, the audio was it was pretty loud in there, but we had a blast. We had a great time. So the audio in the beginning might be a little crackly, but I did my best to clean it up. So hope you guys enjoy it. But let's see here. Let's start it off like we always do. Crack a brewski, give it a reviewski. And also want to say Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Happy Father's Day to my dad. My stepdad Riley passed away, my stepdad Vic. So Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. My Uncle Ray, my Uncle Darren, my Uncle Kelly, everybody out there, my Uncle Jim. All right, so let's go ahead and crack this guy open. This first beer we got is from Ohso. It's called Bright. It's a light lager coming in at 4.3%. Let's go ahead and crack it open, eh? Oh, yeah. Let's get the good stuff. Let's get a little tasty. All right. There we go. Mm-hmm. Oh, that is good. Oh, that's a good beer. I mean, at 4.3%, it's super crushable, crystal clear. It's got a really nice finish to it too. It's just really, really good. Also, if you're in the Phoenix area or the Paradise Valley area and you've never been, you definitely have to go. That place is phenomenal on the inside. It just looks really, really cool. They have these really cool things for dogs. There's these tap handles that, shoot water out of them into this bucket for dogs, or into these almost like a trough kind of thing. So dogs can go and drink water and stuff like that. But Cale and Josh were super awesome. Even at the end of this episode, I got to talk to some of their employees too. So I was able to, they will be at the end of the episode, talking about, how long they've been there and their favorite beer from Ohso. So you guys definitely if you have a chance, get on down there. Everybody's super nice and just, really just down to earth people and want to make good beer. And they do. So let's jump into some headlines here. Oh, the big one's that Nuggets won the title. Nuggets won, and so did the Knights. So congrats to them for winning that. And also, baseball now is kind of taking center stage. Baseball is really one of my favorite sports. I would say it's probably college football and then baseball after that. My Bravos are playing some good baseball right now. Pitching hasn't been great. Lots of injuries, but lots of good baseball. Actually, we'll be doing an episode with Grant McCauley, who is a beat writer. Well, he's the beat writer for the Braves and also has his own podcast. And that will be, I think that one we're going to be recording, I believe, early July. And then it'll be out it'll be like an all-star game kind of episode. Because, love me some baseball, love me some Bravos. But we're not just going to talk about the Braves, though. We're going to talk about, the other teams and stuff like that. And kind of since we'll be at the halfway point of the season. Also got some other episodes coming up, too. Going to be recording with OG Chew Your Beer, who's one of the OGs listening to the show. It's a really great guy. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to be able to chit chat with him. He actually sent me some beer too, so that'll be fun. He'll be on the episode. Also this weekend, I got to record it over at Helia. Been wanting to do that for a while with their head brewer, Naomi. Super nice, super sweet. And I also got to meet their owner, Kelby. Really good dude. Everybody that works there, Maria, she was super nice. They were just really great people making really good beer. And honestly, that place is awesome on the inside. And I think I say it a bunch of times on that episode, how their brewery reminds you of like a beach house, like walking in off the beach, you kind of see some wicker furniture, you like all this amazing kind of like beach artwork and stuff like that. So that'll be out in 2 weeks. So I hope you guys enjoy that one when that comes out. Didn't really have a whole lot of other headlines. I did want to talk about, I did post a picture this week on my story on Instagram. And if you don't follow on Instagram, it's at the Taproom Podcast. But let me go ahead, and I should have pulled that up before, but that's all right. We'll get it up right now. where I asked what are some of your favorite local breweries, and I got some great answers too. One of my funny ones though that Chris said, it was he's like, you already know, which is like, Green Cheek is one of our favorites everywhere. Tons of, I mean, there's so many, breweries out in the OC, especially Brewery X. One of, my brother works there. It's a really great place. Mickey Ears and Craft Beers said Revelation Ale Works, Drecker and Half Brothers. OG Chew Beer said 818, Shadow Grove, Lawless HPB. Said Das Brauwerk, also from Germany. He says we have so many local breweries in Germany. Most of them are really good. That's awesome. Mr. Change, Super Mario, said Stout House is one of his favorites, and obviously Bone Shack Barbecue. Said Noble, obviously Santa Ana River Brewing, and Syncopated. So yeah, some really, really cool ones I'm going to have to check out. I mean, some that I haven't been to yet. So Noble I love. I'll actually be there. I think it's next Sunday. They're going to be doing Bone Shack Barbecue's going to be barbecuing. So I'm going to try to do a little tidbit with him to record a little bit just to be able to, he can talk about his barbecue and all that good stuff. So that was, I like to do that each week because I want to get you guys involved as well. I mean, I love, interacting with you guys on Instagram. Twitter, I don't do as much, but I mean, is what it is. I'm going to go back and finish this beer here so I can crack into the second brewski. Oh, yeah. Excuse me. This next beer I got coming up here. This one was really good. I did try a little bit of this one at the brewery, and it was really, really good. It says, Cheers to a World Without ALS, obviously. And it says Kick ALS IPA. This one is brewed. I'll go ahead and read this. The ALS Arizona chapter provides free support and resources and education to Arizonians impacted by ALS, allowing them to endure their diagnosis with dignity, quality of life, and hope for a world without ALS. This one is an acai berry tea-infused hazy IPA. It's jam-packed with mosaic hops with a hint of citrus. This crushable creation helps you bring awareness to amyotrophic, I probably butchered that and I apologize, lateral sclerosis, and raises money for the Arizona chapter, one can at a time. So that's a really cool cause. So yeah, if you're in the Arizona area and you have a chance to go there, or even if you're just visiting Arizona, make sure you go there, support them, pick up this can if you can, because it's really awesome. I'm going to go ahead and crack this one open here. Like I said, all the work that they're doing over at Ohso is just amazing. They're all really great people. Everybody I met was just awesome. And that was just such a fun trip going to Arizona, hanging out with them, getting to talk with them. Let's go ahead and pour this sucker. Let's get this one in here. Oh yeah, and you really do and like we would always say, like if you're gonna put like something on the can, like say if it's like an acai berry, or you're gonna say it tastes like tangerine, or tangerine IPA, or grapefruit IPA, or anything like that, you want to make sure that you're getting that flavor. You want to make sure it's in there. You're not having to just go find it. And the notes of it. But this one definitely has that, so I can't wait to drink this one again. Oh yeah, that really just that acai really just punches you in the face, and you really get that tea kind of flavor to it, and it's really good. And it is really cloudy, it's super aromatic. Really, I really love this beer. Like if I could, I wish I would have got more of these. I had quite a few when I was there, and like I said, overall, the food was great. The whole atmosphere was amazing. Obviously, the people are great, and I know I'm harping on that, but it's because it's true. And you want to support people like that. You want to support people that are willing to put out a good product, and then also, want to take care of their customers and, stuff like this with their charity. So definitely, if you have a chance to support them, support them. All right, I'm going to go in here for another drink. It's so good. Don't want to slam that too hard. I said too hard. Wow. Too hard. I'm leaving it in. All right. So, one other thing I wanted to do before I jumped into the episode, jumped into the interview, and I will put the timestamp in the description for everybody. what they want to talk about is like stuff that we did when we were kids. Because I just so happened the other day I watched the original Ninja Turtles movie, which is it still holds up. It's still so good. And Leonardo, still not all that great. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I'm sorry. No, sorry, not sorry. Raphael's the man. If I had to rank them, it's Raph, Mikey. I'm gonna put Donnie in there, and then Leo. Leo's just too much of a Boy Scout for me. I already have enough Boy Scout in me with Superman, so Leo is just kind of eh. And even in the new trailer for the new movie, which I am excited to see, I do want to see that. Leo rats out his brothers. What kind of guy is that? Who does that? So it was just why I had to bring that up. Also, it was weird. I got an email, and I may not care about my email, but it was so weird. I got an email the other day, and it says your Photobucket is about to become inactive. And kids, if there's younger people that are listening and don't know what Photobucket is, it was a old photo platform, like a platform you could upload photos to and then use to put on MySpace. So I just thought that was crazy. It was like I didn't know that Photobucket was still around. I mean, I guess it's a website, it's gonna last forever, but didn't really think people used it. Was honestly just like shocked that when I got that email, I was like, "What the hell is that?" And I told Veto about it, and she was just like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." Totally crazy. All right. Well, I am going to shut up now, and I hope you guys enjoy the interview, and I hope you guys enjoy listening to the employees at the end. Like I said, all great people. Support Ohso. Don't forget to stay tuned after the interview for the Bro Code article of the week. I really hope you guys enjoy the episode, and if you guys ever want to chat, send me a message on Instagram. I'm always there, man, and I try to get back to everybody as quickly as possible anytime they send me a DM. But I really hope you guys enjoy it. And like I said, stick around at the end of the episode. All right, guys. I am your host, Mike. We're back in the tap room. I have two very special guests on today. I have Cale and Josh from Ohso Brewing in Arizona. And you guys are in Phoenix. Is it Phoenix, Paradise Valley?
Technically.
We're in Phoenix, technically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a couple locations, so just the greater Phoenix area.
Metro, yeah.
Nice.
Maricopa County, you find us.
There you go.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah. How I usually start the show is I usually crack a brewski, give it a review. So I'm going to crack this because this one looks amazing. This first one you guys gave me is the Ohso from Ohso, obviously. Lemon Raspberry Pop Cycle Blonde.
Yeah.
Did you brew this one yourself, Josh?
Yeah, we brew that one. Yep.
Oh, I'm going to open mine too.
Yeah, crack it open. Oh, there we go, right on the laptop. That's all right.
Sprayed everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's your poolside beer right there.
Yeah. Raspberry Lemon Blonde. The hotter it gets, quicker they go.
Oh, man, that is amazing. That's really good. I'm going to give that a big fat 10. That's really good. And this one is at, with the percentages, 4.5%.
Yeah,
4.5.
It's a golden lager with lemon and raspberry flavor. It's kind of like lagers I feel like are coming back. I don't feel like they went away, but I mean, hazies was just such like big, huge bubble when it came to hazies.
I think lagers are back in a big way.
Oh yeah,
yeah, especially out here anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's crisp, it's clean, it's refreshing. You can have if you're out golfing, you can have 10, 12 of them.
Yeah,
I think it's two things too. It's people appreciating what it takes going into those styles of beer.
Yeah,
and appreciating the time and effort they take. But also people's desire for less high octane beers, which is a double kind of benefit of that. You get a beer that you can't hide flaws with, and also a beer that you could drink 5 or 6 of.
Oh yeah,
not definitely. Be falling over.
Yeah,
we still have stuff we gotta do.
Yeah,
I want 6 beers I can still do stuff.
Yeah. For sure. And so Josh is the head brewer. Cale, you're your sales, head of sales.
Yeah.
And
together, we do it.
Damn right. Twinkle, twinkle, baby.
Yeah.
I love that. But how long has Ohso been around?
Established 2011.
Okay, nice.
In our Arcadia location, on a really small pilot system.
Awesome.
Kind of the idea was to just have a glorified homebrew system that we can just bring homebrew recipes in and just be a neighborhood kind of spot. And
That's awesome.
after about 2 weeks, we're on like a 2 hour wait.
Oh
Pretty
shit.
popular.
That's
And
really
we're
cool.
just like, yeah, maybe we can grow and do a couple more things, bring on some more brewers, and expand our brand a little bit. So it's been a nice ride.
That's pretty awesome. So 2011, so that's 12 years, and so congratulations on that. I mean, especially, it's not always easy to, especially when you're like, having like just starting a business in general. It's not always easy to get.
Yeah. There's that magic 5-year marker that people, if you make it past 5,
yeah,
you're doing something all right.
Yeah.
And then a decade later.
Yeah, our owner was superstitious versus like a lot of people, which I understand, will celebrate anniversaries, first, second, third, fourth anniversary. He wouldn't mention it until like year 5 because he was just like, hey, like, and at that point we had 3 locations, and and it was just like, it's like
you guys
I think we're okay, John. And he was like, yeah, we'll just it's a beer festival, what for,
Yeah.
And on his personal Facebook page, he'll post some stuff like outside of that.
He won't say.
Yeah, he doesn't really. He's like superstitious.
Okay.
He's not superstitious. He's at least stitious, though.
He's a little stitious.
Mediocre stitious at best.
That's awesome. And how long have you been brewing, Josh?
Almost 10 years.
Wow.
9 years. Yeah.
Well, but you've been homebrewing for a bit.
Well, I homebrewed before. Yeah. And but I guess homebrewed for off and on. Like living in Arizona, my homebrew time would stop when it hit summer because standing in front of a boiling pot, 115-degree weather.
Couldn't imagine. Yeah.
Like absolutely not.
Yeah.
But now,
now it's inside and it's only 85.
Yeah. What do you remember your first beer?
My very first beer, which I would guess like a third of people that I know brew that homebrewed at some point was like Kelowna Sierra Nevada Pale.
Okay.
Like just classic beer.
Nice.
That was the first homebrew beer I ever made.
Yeah.
And it was probably terrible. I'm pretty sure it was terrible.
It happens.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
It's on. If you check his MySpace, it's on there.
There you go. You guys,
I actually called it Moonshouter because me and my friend Justin brewed it outside, and it was a full moon at night, and we just got plastered while brewing it.
There you
and
go.
Just started screaming at the moon for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. The labels were better on the bottles than the beer was inside of it.
There you go.
There's breweries out there like that still.
Yeah, that's true.
That's awesome. And how did you get into craft beer? Was it just something you were always interested, Cale, or?
No, I'm a long-time bartender, and
okay,
I've hit a couple of scenes along the way, corporate, this and that, and when Ohso opened, I went in like the second day it opened just to go hang out, and I just started drinking there and liked the vibe and all that stuff.
Awesome.
Started knowing some of the staff, and then it was more of a recruitment. Like, you should come over here. And you bartend, you sell yourself more or less.
For sure.
You got to get the customers to engage. And when it came to like craft beer, I felt like I had to kind of understand what I was selling. So, and I kind of dove in a little bit more on, like, I had that one night in college where it was 2-for-1 Guinness, and I'd never drink a stout ever again.
Yeah.
But, I'm like, I have to, because I have to know, people are asking for it. I got to know.
Yeah, of course.
So you try a little bit, and you're like, oh, okay, this is, and then here I am.
Yeah.
11 years later. I know a thing or two more
there you
about
go.
beer,
That's awesome, though, because one thing I always like to talk about on the show is, like, not everybody's destination is the same, but the journey is always different for everyone. So being able to hear like that kind of story of like how you started or how you started, be able to hear that, maybe it'll motivate somebody to, hey, I was kind of wanted to try home brewing, or I wanted to try to open up a brewery or to do something like that. Maybe it'll motivate someone to actually do it.
You have a master's in marketing, and that is very not useful for what I do now. I remember after like the beginning credits of college, and I'm like, science, never gonna need that stuff again. I'm going into the business world, and now it's like, just kidding, I need everything about that. So I went to like UC Davis, brewing science, different things like that. I'm like, man, I really wish I would have known this would have been my journey from the beginning, but I mean, I don't know if I would have gotten there the same way. So it's Yeah, it's a blessing in the end, but like I'm never gonna need this stuff.
Wipe it clean.
Yeah.
Well, it also depends too. Like,
Yeah.
I view what these guys do as someone would like walk through an art gallery. Like,
Yeah.
I can look at beer and my own interpretation is going to be different. So,
Of course.
like I do enjoy beer. I enjoy the social aspect of it and all those things. And so, when I drink a beer for the first time, like I get something unique out of it and I look at it as such. And then you're going to have the ones you're like, that's my jam right there. Like,
For sure.
I've had a long day. I don't want to mess around with anything new.
Yeah.
But I know I like this beer. But
Mm-hmm.
having like small craft beers, like there's a lot of passion behind it that I think if you see it, you'd appreciate it. If you see what the brewers do day in and day out to really put their soul into it,
100%.
I think you just kind of like it a little bit more. Yeah.
I'm in it just for the money.
Yeah. He's poor as hell.
But like, and that's one thing I love too, like, especially when you talk to like to brewers and stuff like that. Like, I love that aspect of, because sometimes you could make a freaking banger, freaking recipe for like a hazy or any style of beer, and you'd be like, oh man, like people will tell you like, oh man, it's amazing, but then you're like, you know what? Yeah, but I think I could change a little something.
Yeah, perfectionist.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's never enough, and but I love that because you can like you're continuing to strive to like. Well, continuing to hone your craft and strive for more.
Yeah, there's always something. They're never perfect. Like if you think that's a perfect beer, like I know beers that I think are perfect that other people make.
Yeah.
And that is not like I've never been like this is perfect. Like it's like maybe a tweak in the water.
Yeah.
Maybe a tweak of this timing. Maybe a tweak of this fermentation temp. Try a different yeast. Try this different. Like it's. But that's the fun part about it.
Yeah. And that's like I said, like that's the fun part, or that's the best part, because you can, you're always trying different things because you never know what combination of hops or barley or anything that's gonna
And I mean all the products are agricultural products. So one batch of Mosaic, you get another batch, and you're like, oh man, this is not what the last batch tasted like.
Yeah.
I mean it's a constant battle and struggle to keep everything in line besides your own factors.
Yeah, for sure. And I always feel like too, like we were mentioning like the hops, like, or the Mosaic, because one of the Mosaics was like Mosaic, Cashmere, like those are some of my favorites. Or like Galaxy's really good.
See, but Galaxy sucked in like 2019, 2020. I stopped using it for like a couple of years.
Yeah.
It's just garlicky and weird.
It's crazy.
And now it's delicious again.
Like, between like different soils will make it taste different. Like you can try to grow the same hop in one area, one region, and then you try to grow it in another region, and it has a completely different flavor profile.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy too that farmers they're not in it for the beer game. They're in it for farming and agriculture, Yeah. Like, they do care, but they take the notes to try to make something that's super unique and popular, but like they're so focused on farming aspect, which is you farm hops, we need the hops.
Yeah.
But they probably enjoy beer, but their end game isn't, oh, what's the best beer that will be made with these? They're like, what's the best hops I can produce to feed my family and stuff like that.
For sure.
Yeah, same with maltsters too. But I remember being up in Yakima in 2015, I think.
Yeah.
And we were sitting down with a bunch of the growers, and they're like, we don't brew beer, so I don't know exactly what you guys do with these. But like I look for disease resistance, oil contents, things you guys tell us that are great. And I remember we were like, what, any advice for us? And they're like, stop using Centennial. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you're gonna need to talk to Bells about that. They're like, it's low pounds per acre, not as disease resistant as some of the newer hops, but yet we all still love that classic American hop Centennial. And they're like, and I mean, if I could find that guy from 2015 up in Yakima, he'd probably still tell me stop using Centennial.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, I really like. I know I probably said it like, well, before we were on air, I think I said it, to Cale a few times. I love this place. I love like the decor, I love the wood, obviously, like the exposed ceilings and stuff like that, the old exposed beams and stuff, and everything is just really, really awesome. So, I mean, I thank you guys again for allowing me to be here.
I don't know. We'll sit up here and drink beer with you all day.
Yeah, are you kidding? What was it, Friday?
I mean, I know we have a baseball game to go to today.
Oh yeah, that's what we're all. Oh yeah, for the listeners, we're all going to the Braves Diamondbacks game.
Yep. Actually, because of this beer slightly that Cale just opened. If you want to try this one.
Oh yeah, I'm down.
This is a beer that we do every June for ALS.
Okay.
It is a white acai IPA with Mosaic.
Okay.
So it's a white tea IPA with Mosaic, and it just gives you like this awesome citrusy tea punch, and
you get
follow up with that Mosaic in the back. Yep.
So yeah, it's actually ALS chapter out here.
That's really cool that you guys do that. That is delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually so speaking of like our different breweries, so this recipe, a similar recipe, was one that like our brewer at Arcadia on that 1.5 barrel system used to make, and it's the base recipe is he calls it R2T2.
Okay.
And it was just popular, and we're like, hey, like let's scale that thing up, and that's kind of the fun thing about having different size breweries in the company.
Yeah.
So it's the pilot's not necessarily on site, but we get to pilot a lot of things on a 50-gallon batch.
That's
and then it's like, let's tweak that a little bit and make that thing pop. And so this is one of those that we were a fan of and scaled it up and have made it like maybe 5 years in a row, 4 years in a row now on the big scale.
That beer, like I want to go golfing.
Yeah.
Like, I just said the same thing about this one, but it's the same for that one. Like that one, if I was gonna have 2 4-packs, I mean, I'm sure I might be like laying on the floor at the end of the 18th hole, but
that one's 6%,
6-7, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's 6.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 6.
Yeah.
6.7. Yeah.
My brother would always say, he'd be like, I can take this golfing. I can take like 17, 18 beers. And it's like, fuck that. If I had 17, 18 beers,
one per hole.
We didn't make this light beer originally. And our other owner, Brian, was like, yeah, I know. Like, we made a amber lager that was a 5% amber lager. And a few other things that were, I thought, fall into that light beer category. But he's like, I need something I can drink like, 13, 14 of on the patio. And I'm like, I don't think you should drink 13 or 14 of anything on the patio unless it's water. But, and he's like, yeah, but you know what I mean. And he's like, I just need something that I could just drink, a case.
But he's like real little, so that's a lot of beer.
Sometimes you got to do it.
Good thing he won't listen to this.
Oh, yeah, not at all. You got to turn up his hearing aids.
Yeah, he does not use the internet either.
So we're safe.
What's your guys' favorite style of beer? Or do you guys have a go-to?
I mean, I'm a lager child. I have an easy answer to that.
Yeah.
Like, the most fun I have is stuff we pull out of the horizontals at our Gilbert location.
Nice.
That, like, I would say...
This one?
That's one of them. That's a Mexican lager. That one's delicious. Basically, I would say if it's not like a perfectly crafted pilsner, it's a beautiful saison. One of those two. So if saison might be my favorite style, but that's also because I don't really get to make it much. Our Belgian market is very weak here. And you can make a saison, but just keep a pitch rolling and keep it constant, like maybe making funky ones. We just don't have the market for it here. So friends that I have back east that make perfect ones, like John at Off Color or Native Free Will, some of those guys that make like beautiful saisons. When I drink theirs, I'm like, man, this is a great style. Yeah. But of ones we make, like a perfect pilsner is a delicious, delicious thing. We make one called Genetic that I think is awesome. Fantastic.
You're gonna have to try one.
We'll send you some. It's in lager right now.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, the Belgians, I feel like, in this style of weather would be kind of tough.
No, I mean the light Belgians.
Oh, the light Belgians.
Like saison, just like. But there's people. We went through a decent Belgian phase in this country, and then I think either some of the heavily fruited sours and stuff just kind of took people away from the appreciation of that style. Yeah. But man, like a perfect saison is a delightful thing.
Oh yeah. I honestly feel like any style when it's done right. I mean, it's tough to I'm more of a. Well, I was hazy at first. I loved hazies. Who didn't at one point, but I've just gone back to my roots and loving like pilsners and like Czech pilsners or like rice lagers, stuff like that. Something that's completely, crushable, but also love like West Coast. West Coast is great. West Coast IPAs. How about you, Cale?
I think I'm gonna go with Rausch beers.
I like Rausch beers.
Yeah.
You do not.
I do not. Well, I don't not. But
You don't.
Kind of. I've been asking Josh to make a beer like this for a long time.
Yeah.
But, it's a lager, but like a toasted lager or something that just has a little more like finesse to it. I feel like to give me some little substance, because obviously you go to like the big brands and they all, in a sense, kind of taste the same.
Yeah.
But then but the idea is I want to sit up here and like drink with you guys and enjoy something nice that we could converse for a while, whereas you're sitting in front of all these big barrel aged 15-16% beers. We could all split a little bit of that before it starts to get weird, right?
There we go.
But then there are some like pretty solid IPAs where if it hits you right, I'll do the like oh my gosh, like sit back.
Oh, for sure.
Like, what did I just have? Because some people just knock it out. Josh kind of turned me on to it. But anything with like Nelson hops tend to be some of my favorite hops. So if I see something that's just loaded with Nelson hops, typically kind of.
In fact, Cale and I have frolicked through a hop field in Nelson, New Zealand.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Holding hands.
And he was
like,
single then.
Sound of music?
It was.
Like all Sound of Music like?
It was,
Yeah. He's not anymore. But
There you go.
It's not to me.
I'm just going to brewery.
Yeah.
It's loud.
Yeah. Oh, and that's what I always say too. Like because there's times when like I'm recording and I'm like you can hear stuff like, or you can hear people talking in the background. I'm like, hey, that's what happens when you record at the brewery.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. So I mean, this. I'm gonna keep harping on it, and I don't care. People tell me like you've said the same thing over and over again. I love this place. Like I really love I love the decor. I love the whole setup. Like the outside. I love how you guys have the those little like the water spigots outside coming out of the taps.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. Is that all you?
I saw that somewhere, and I was like, well, this would be cool.
That's fucking awesome.
And then I didn't build it, but it is awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have a unique. People come to breweries because a brewery's not everywhere, so we have different things. If you go in the bathroom, we use the tap handles for faucets.
Oh, that's cool.
So
you don't see that very often.
No, but it's like we use that, and who services them? Those guys.
Who's got to clean
that's not part of the draft system, sir. Hey, absolutely not.
He's like, who's got to clean?
I had to rebuild the ones at Gilbert once, and I'm like, this is the last time I'm doing this. This is not attached to beer. You guys want this? Like, pretend those are not faucets.
Oh,
like I'll order you more parts, but that is it. Like, oh, you seem pretty handy and good at this. No, I'm not.
I forgot.
So Josh, you had mentioned that you had got your marketing degree. Were you in marketing prior to?
I was a business analyst for in the Gannett family. So I was at the contract work like inside the Tribune in Chicago, and then I moved back out here, and we were part of the Arizona Republic.
Okay.
So that was all Gannett stuff too. So
gotcha.
Yeah, it was another lifetime. I wore a tie.
It happens.
I actually kind of miss it now. Like I was just at a wedding a couple weeks ago. And I put on a tie
to work.
Like,
ain't nobody stopping.
I mean, that's true, but it gets toasty.
Yeah.
They don't like pumping air conditioning into this side as much as the other side where the customers are.
What you could do, you could
The
compromise. Tuxedo
guests,
T-shirt.
Oh yeah, it's been talked about actually. I wanted to do it for an event. Like we need the tuxedo T-shirt thing, like the Brewers version of it. I actually wanted
like those.
Yeah.
Well, not even that. I wanted like the brew shirt, like the smocks that we don't wear because it's too hot here. But like that as a T-shirt too. Like I wanted to do the Brewers version of that.
Yeah,
I like just been too lazy to
have
anybody do it.
I love the tuxedo T-shirt. Like I had one at one point when I was like in my early 20s.
Last week.
Yeah. Oh,
it's underneath this Braves jersey.
Yeah, I'm actually 36 now. But back then, I was like, I owned I think 2 or 3 different tuxedo T-shirts.
Wow.
And everybody knew I was.
Multiple?
Tell me you're wealthy without telling me you're wealthy.
Yeah. Wow. I had a black one, but it looked like an 80s one. Then I had one that looked like 70s, like a blue one, like Dumb and Dumber, or something like that. And then I had like a regular tuxedo T-shirt.
I had a buddy and I did the Dumb and Dumber suits for Halloween.
That's awesome.
And we beat the shit out of each other with canes all night. I had like welts the next day.
Samsonites.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Not good.
But everybody knew I was drunk when I would throw one on. And I was like, we would be everybody singing out and walking out.
He's got the tuxedo T-shirt on.
Because all the sleeves were cut off on all of them. And clearly, I don't have big arms. So I wasn't even showing up.
This is an audio podcast.
Yeah.
Man, those are the biggest biceps I have ever seen.
Yeah, when you're drunk, everything is big.
Exactly. Oh, man.
You crush a can with that arm. Go
Exactly.
ahead, bro.
Was it is it Predator or Commando? Or I think it's Commando. I don't know if you guys remember the movie Commando with Arnold when they grab their arms.
That's Predator, isn't it?
Was that Predator?
Him and
Yeah. It's
like right before
because
they
that's
take
like
off.
a meme too, is like the arm wrestling meme.
Well, no, but they like high five.
Or not arm wrestling, but
yeah,
like
it's Apollo Creed and Arnold.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know his name. I apologize.
Rest in
R.I.P.
peace, Apollo Creed.
Classic movie.
The Russians are at it again.
Yeah, they're back. Cale, so when you obviously I know you were frequenting the brewery before you started here. What were you doing before that?
Well,
Living the dream.
actually, yes, I was. So right before that, I took like a 2-month like around the world like globe trot a little bit.
Oh, that's awesome.
I went to England, Spain, Peru, Miami. That's a country in itself, I guess.
There you go. That'll be Cuba.
Yeah, and then I went around, did that for a bit, came back, and I didn't want to go back to my old job because I've just
seen things, man.
Yeah, it's
better
a lot of.
out
I won't name them to throw them under, but it was just all corporate, and our corporate office was right by where our spot was, and it was just always this and that, and the big wigs would come in, and I didn't give a shit. I'd be like, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Like, you can't say that. I go, I fucking did.
Yeah,
so who cares? Yeah,
fuck you, I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't ever get in trouble, but it was definitely a beard and a hair kind of thing going on. So anyway, I was like, all right, I'm done. So then I actually tried to start my own like shoe company. So I was like, designing a bunch of stuff and talking to a bunch of local places to try to get something like that off the ground. And that's where I would go in Ohso and just kind of meet up with my buddies and talk to them about what I was doing. And one of the owners at the time, he loved it and he had a good interest in it. And he would ask me how it was going. And I would just, here's my new mock-up. Here's this, here's that. He's like, dude, that's awesome. Like, what are you doing for money? And I'm like, well, I still have some, it's dwindling down, but I'm all right. Yeah. And that's where he was like, you should work here. I'm like, I don't want to work here. I like coming here. Yeah. I'm like, I told him 2 days a week and it turned into 3 immediately. And then 11 years later.
And now Cale doesn't wear shoes.
There you go. That's true. Yeah.
We have to be like, brewery and his flip flops just every time. Assume chemical is everywhere.
See, and I came here just for the weekend, obviously to record with you guys and to hang out with my cousin and go to the game. But all I brought was my topsiders, my boat shoes, and my flip flops. That's all I brought. Yeah.
See?
I feel like you two are related. That's how we got hooked up with this.
Flip flops are great.
That was the coolest thing too, because sometimes it might take a brewery a day or two. Maybe sometimes they don't see it for a week, a message. But I messaged, I don't know who it was, whoever runs the Instagram for you guys. I sent a message, and within 5 minutes, I had a message back. Like, oh yeah, I think the head brewer Josh would want to do it. I think Cale would want to do it. Because I was like, sweet. Well, do you want to send me their Instagram or their email? He's like, oh, here's their number. So I was like, super. You don't it doesn't happen all the time. And one thing I love about the craft beer community. It may take a day or it may take a month or a few weeks. But the craft beer community to me is just they're there to help everybody. They want to help each other out to be able to,
we're
just continue to grow.
We're pretty cool out here. I mean, I hear a lot when I was bartending anyway, but when there's a new brewery out, we all go support each other. And we do that where I guess maybe on the East Coast is not as friendly, which I don't know. I mean, they might say it is, but it's like your business model is different than mine. Yeah. And anything we can do to help you succeed. Because in our opinion, it's like us versus them. Yeah. Being we want people to support local business on all aspects, whether it be local honey, local, farmers, anything is, that's just how you sustain your own community.
Oh, for sure.
And so we want you to thrive. So we're there to help you at, any chance we can get.
Yeah.
I mean, in the scheme of things, I remember being at a CBC in 2016, 17, somewhere around there. I think it was the one in DC. And we had just exceeded the brand Budweiser. All of craft beer had just exceeded
brand, right?
one brand Budweiser. Yeah. That's not Bud Light. That's not Modelo. That's not any of the other shit. Just that one brand. And it's like, if you want this industry and this like community thing to be, to grow, cannibalizing each other doesn't do any good.
Exactly.
It's just, and if you think about it, the market is there too. Around the same time, I know we had just exceeded the amount of breweries that were pre-prohibition.
Yeah.
They were always part of the community. It was, you had your local breweries, and the executive director of our guild likes to say that they're the alternative town halls. That's where people meet up. You go to a brewery and you, and he's right about that. It's it's your community kind of spot. You go to your church, you go to your temple, you go to your, your job. And after that, you go get a beer.
Yeah. I always every time I think of that's a great way to say it, but I always think Norm, it's from Cheers, because I love Cheers, fucking love Cheers. But when you see every time you walked into his local watering hole, Normie, you're Norm and Cliff, they are the spirit animals of this podcast for me.
Yeah, that's great.
Because to me, when I do this, I don't want it. I think when I sent you guys a message, I don't like it to sound like an interview. I just like it to be a conversation. You're 2 or 3 guys, 4 guys, or girls for that matter too, just sitting over there having a beer, getting in, having an honest conversation.
Yeah,
that's living life, man. That's it. Beer brings people together for sure. It's to me a little bit is what can we accomplish over a beer? You know, because there's a lot of good ideas around beer.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to translate later because you had too many beers afterwards.
Yeah.
But some people just have some solid thoughts about how things could simplify when they're just calm and they're with good company.
For sure. So, yeah. I had an interview with a girl. Her name is Rachel. She's actually going to be, her episode's going to release tomorrow. And she had a really cool kind of thing that she said. She's there's a beer out there for everybody. People can go up and say, I'm not a beer person, but there is a beer out there for everybody, because whether it's, some people are super into sours, or a lot of people are into hazies or West Coast, or, barrel aged, or stouts or porters, stuff like that. There's a beer out there for everybody. It just almost, I'm not a wine person, but I've had wine. And I'm oh, that's not bad. Mm-hmm. Where everybody can kind of find their gateway drug, so to speak. Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah, and you get it's funny, doing our beer classes for the staff. Yeah. You can kind of even pigeonhole I always think there's you can kind of learn the way that people go through beer. You started off drinking some sort of macro lager that you stole from your parents. And then usually the next beer you drank was either some sort of amber whatever, or half, usually wheat beers. Okay. So it's light beer, then wheat beer, and then it goes into all the other styles, and then usually the last style that people appreciate, at least as the more classical versions, were IPAs. Yeah. And the bitterness level is the thing that kind of is the last frontier. And some people don't make it there. They try it and they're it's gross. My wife won't touch a bitter beer. Yeah. Even our Pilsner, she drinks every light lager we make, but a Pilsner where it's in that 35 to 40 IBU range, she's grassy, hoppy, gross. Oh. And it's okay, so there's
Does she make a bitter beer face?
Yeah, she's no, it's just more no, give me a Helles.
Yeah. No, she hits me.
Yeah, and then I go back to work. But it's and then there's the bitterness, because we were interpreted as a species. We interpret bitterness as poison. Yeah. And that was why we survived all this time. You like eat a plant and Frank dies.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that bitter one. Stay away from those. Yeah. And like, so you can kind of track this progression. But in there's like such an adventure of like different styles and all these different
But didn't
things.
beer save the world?
It did save the world, sort of. Well, pasteurization saved the world.
Yeah.
It just also happened to have alcohol.
We'll just still say beer saved the world. That's fine.
It's a good way. I mean, that's the reason that's why they weren't drinking the town water. You're drinking the low percentage stuff that was boiled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've become more like falling more in love with like Phoenix and stuff like that. And the craft beer scene out here, it seems like it's just continuing to grow and grow. Can you guys tell me a little
for
bit more
like
about
the
that?
sixth largest city, we are like as an industry, craft beer is stagnant and regressing slightly, which it's always got its ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
As a local market, though, we are not saturated like the other big beer cities. So there's still growth possibilities here, even in a quote unquote down market for beer, which is cool because that just means there's more beer coming and more beer people entering.
For sure.
Like, COVID, there's some places that changed hands and some places that closed, but that's, kind of outside influences. Yeah. As far as like, oh man, I have like, you go to San Diego and there's so much good beer, but you could be like, oh, there's 30 breweries within 5 minutes of here. And you're like, I can only go to so many of those. Yeah. So if you don't hit, like there's so many people in San Diego that I knew that made great beer that some of them aren't around anymore. And it's not because they didn't make good beer. It was because it's just a tough market. Yeah. Denver, similar like Portland, things like that.
Yeah. Colorado Springs is like going through the roof right now.
Yeah, and that's, like it's that like population to, per capita of like craft breweries there are. 100%. And we have Maricopa's really spread out. Phoenix is really spread out which is more of a familiar name to your listeners.
Yeah.
It is very spread out, and there is a huge population, like Philadelphia, like exceeding level of population here. Oh, and there's more craft breweries in San Diego than there are in this state. Yeah. And that's good for us. But it's like I think the only negative I would say to that is that sometimes our there isn't as much pushing because of that. So I would say like maybe our tastes in the market are maybe a year behind some of the other like saturated markets that have to always keep pushing new styles, new fads, new trends.
Of course.
And that's a positive and a negative. Yeah. But outside of that, like we're in a good beer market, and I think we get overlooked as a beer market because of that.
But we've seen it grow so much in the time we've been with Ohso, because like we supported a lot of local breweries as much as we could. Yeah. And they're, sprinkled around the entire state. For sure. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, there's a lot more. But, we've watched a lot of the growth as it comes, and we support all those guys. But
I still know when most new ones open.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that I necessarily know the people, but like we're small enough still here that like, oh, this brewery opened. You're like, oh, okay, cool. Like Pleasant, for example, it's a brewery that is up, maybe 15 minutes north of here. Yeah. It's one of those breweries that I hadn't been to and went maybe 3 weeks ago, and like I was like, oh, this beer's great. Like they have a cool little spot, and but you hear about almost all of them opening. Like that's how small of our market is. Wow. Like it is. It's cool.
I love that. You guys have your guys, like it's not like a niche market, but it's just like, like you said, like it's not how crazy it is in San Diego or like even in Anaheim, like in Orange County. It's just, there's a new brewery, I feel like every other week.
Yeah. And you have to open up with like a 20 barrel and like massive distribution. So.
Yeah. You really do.
Here's your keys and here's your distributor.
And you also need about $6 million. Perfect.
Yeah. There's like, if you guys ever make your way out there, if we could always, hang out. There's a few breweries that I've recorded with that I would love to recommend. Like Noble is great. Stereo in Placentia.
Yep.
They're all like super close, super cool people. Like, you know, and that's what it's all about. Like if, you know,
So our MBA location is
Yeah.
is included in Southern California. So I see
awesome.
a bunch of those guys. Like, but so if I go to an MBA meeting, I have to go to Southern California because we don't even have a chapter here.
Yeah. Man, that's
For your listeners, Master Brewers Association.
That's
our
cool.
like.
I'd love to
They
have
have
like
pins on their caps.
there you go.
It's neato.
It's like the Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
But I'd love to have like maybe we can set up one day like a round table with like, you know, the MBAs. That'd be really cool if they'd be up for it.
For sure.
Yeah.
Man, any excuse to go out there, especially in the summer. Let's,
yeah.
go out
I'm
there
up
and
for
go
it.
see the guys at Highland Park and whatnot.
Yeah.
They make some great beer.
Awesome. So, Cale, I did want to ask you because on your phone case, you have the Endless Summer.
Yeah.
I love that movie. It's one of my favorites. You and I were talking about it a little bit before, but I grew up watching that movie with my stepdad, and that movie's like everything to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of growing up here a little bit. I don't know. You go through
Huge surfing culture.
you go through phases. Yeah.
Some big
I
ones.
used to be that skater kid for a bit or whatever, but
Yeah.
like every summer throughout my time, like we would just wear board shorts all summer because we'd always end up in somebody's pool.
For
We'd
sure.
always end up in somebody's pool who didn't know we were going to end up in their pool.
There you go.
We'd always jump off roofs into somebody's pool.
Nice.
So, you know, it's like, you know, we claim ourselves as desert rats, you know, more or less, but, you know, we get out to California when we could and you know, soak that up. But when we're out here, we make do. People don't like going down the river. I love the river. It's got a soft spot.
Yeah.
It's fun. When you grow up, it's a little bit different than a kid and stuff. But
we need to do one of those before it gets disgusting.
Yeah.
See, yeah. But yes, you're right.
No, it does get gross.
But yeah, I mean, you know, so when it monsoons in the summer, it's a little bit better now. But the golf courses used to flood so bad. We would literally take all our pool toys out.
Dang.
And take like our tennis rackets and we like paddle through
because
it would be so high and it'd have this runoff and then we'd call the crew. We just play mud football, like
that
hard
awesome.
tackle, like go for it. But everybody, I mean, it's up to almost your knees and you're just trying to trench through and play. But I mean,
that's cool.
You know, I mean, that to us was our endless summer. It was like it was just always wet. We're always doing something. Stay hydrated. We're outside. You know, I mean,
sure.
Town's grown a lot, and there's more water parks than there used to be, I guess. But.
Yeah. Well, cheers. I'm going to try this one with Is it Generalissimo?
Yep.
It's a Mexican lager coming in at 4.8%. Cheers,
guys. Art on that can done by our very own Eddie Quintana.
Nice.
One of our longtime employees did that. So
I love that. I love the kind of because it's like not like it's simplistic, but it's like it's still like it pops right off the can. And like you and I were talking before the show about can artwork and like what that can do for like a brand, like because a lot of people like they walk in they have so many choices. Say they go to a Total Wine or they go to their local like craft beer kind of liquor store, and they see all these different things, and they're like, "Crap, what do I get?" I'm like, "Oh, that one looks pretty cool. I want to try that."
Yeah.
You know, and that's what if you can draw people in.
Well, you're not cars do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, go look at car. People look at it, they know it.
Exactly.
I mean, if we get to the level of distribution where it's like wine, because like I actually enjoy drinking wine.
Hot damn.
But besides, I'm glad you like it. But besides like a few winemakers that you know that may be priced out of what you're normally drinking every day, you may like a grape, which could be equated to like a style of beer. And outside of that, I go to like Safeway or something. I'm like, I have no idea any of these fucking winemakers. Yeah. Like, I guess I want like a Pinot or something from Oregon, maybe or something. You're like, I guess that one looks cool.
That's
like, but I mean, I don't know any of these winemakers anymore, you know. And you're like, I guess that one looks cool, and it's $15. So like that should be decent, I guess.
19 crimes. I'm a bad boy. I'll drink that one. Yeah.
This one is delicious though. That might be. Like because like I drink Mexican lagers every once in a while, like summertime kind of, you know, you throw into like a Pacifico or something like that. But that might be one of the best ones I've ever had. Like, I'm not just
Our
blowing smoke up your ass.
in-house lagerhead Garrett is was just messaging me about tweaking that recipe slightly.
Yeah.
And we're gonna submit that one to GABF. We haven't submitted that one to a competition yet. But that'll be in the fall.
So you definitely should, because I said I'm not just trying to hold your hand in Sweden.
It's the hard thing is like categorizing, because that one's kind of in between a couple styles.
Yeah.
But because like Mexican lager to us, we're like, yeah. And it's like, oh, put this into a category, and you're like, well,
no, that's delicious, and I love I love the can artwork, because it almost reminds me of like sometimes you'll see like in like museums or like art galleries, you'll see like a photo of like an old man, and it's just like a picture of his
sitting
face
on a porch,
and he's got a big old mustache, and he's got his cowboy hat on or something like that. Like this one doesn't have a cowboy hat on, but I mean like just that kind of you'll see something like that, and that's what it reminds me of.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you find people around it. We use local artists as much as we can, but
that's awesome.
You find people, and
I mean, they're all
Josh and I are very awesome at saying a bunch of stuff, but every once in a while, someone can harness what we say and translate it down, which is good for people like us. But other people need people to say stuff, and like I hear what you're saying. They don't think on the other side of the box; they think on this side of the box.
I literally just emailed our graphic designer today about the beer for the Phoenix Rising. And like, luckily that one had more of a concept behind it, because it's our local soccer team here, and this one, at least luckily, we're getting the whole team to sign, and then we're putting all the signatures all over the can.
That's
but
cool.
like, so that maybe had slightly more direction than what I usually email him. Like most of the time it's like comical. I'm like, Justin, I need this, and like maybe here's some examples of things that are near it. But like, and I just verbal diarrhea into an email, and then I'm like,
it comes out.
and then he'll like send me a picture back, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty much it. Like
exactly.
Every time I hit send, I'll like reread it, and I'm like, this is verbal diarrhea. I have no idea how a person is going to take my over talking and make it into art, and he does. Like Victor does a great job with these the ales from the Crypt ones. Victor
tag handle Snake's Blood, but he's really talented.
Yeah,
awesome.
And Justin does like some of our other ones too, and it's just like the shit that we say to him. I'm just like that. I don't know how you got anything logical out of it.
He did one. My mom turned 70, and I wanted to do a beer for her birthday, a surprise party, and
that's sweet.
Same kind of thing. I was like, "Here's my mom." I took a picture in her little Mini Cooper.
That's cool.
He kind of turned it into like a beer can bobblehead.
Awesome.
Like, but I mean, when you find people that you click with, and
for sure, And even like I feel like now, like and I do. Is his Instagram on? Like, do you guys have his Instagram? Because I'd love to tag him in the. When I post the reel and stuff on this episode.
Victor, who does the specific, he's on there. Snake's Blood is his artist name.
Awesome.
And then Eddie Quintana, I think, is on that one. So
and then Justin Ketchum,
is
the one that does.
What's that? No, I made a Pokemon joke.
Catch him if you can. Now we need to have him do some Pokemon labels.
There you go,
Justin. But Justin in the red hat.
Yeah. That's freaking awesome. And you brought up the Phoenix, the Rising, right?
Rising,
soccer team. So you mentioned me in Chicago, and we kind of we were kind of going back and forth.
Josh loves Chicago.
You're Blackhawks?
He loves the Cubs.
No. I love that is a fantastic city, and I lived there for several years. They have some terrible taste in sports teams, except for the Blackhawks.
I'm with you. The only thing is,
White Sox are okay. I don't have a problem with the White Sox.
And you're a Packer fan though too, right?
I'm born and raised in Milwaukee.
Okay, so I'm a Green Bay fan, but I grew up just kind of watching like I saw Brett Favre. I was like,
We just won't talk about anything he's done in the last few years.
Oh yeah, we won't talk about anything about that, or even Aaron at this
Wranglers.
point. But
like it was a really nice volleyball stadium.
But like them, and like because but I always like kind of feel like it's my friends from Chicago would be like it's sacrilegious because I cheer for the Bulls in the NBA, but I cheer for the Packers in the NFL. Yeah. But it's I grew up watching Jordan, and I grew up watching Brett, two of the greatest to ever do it. Jordan's the greatest, but
I mean, we were Bucks fans in the 90s, but like I was at the 70th win when they set the record at the time because
Oh
the record
yeah,
was
when they were
69.
72-10.
And they got to 72, yeah, but the 70th win was the one that set the record.
Yeah.
And it was in Milwaukee. And I remember like my dad and I going to that game, and it was just like, yeah, like everyone liked Jordan. You either hated Jordan or you loved Jordan.
Of
and
course,
it was just like it superseded teams. So
Yeah.
like that's okay. And as long as you cheer for a superior football team like the Green Bay Packers. of
Exactly.
course,
14 world championships.
it's 13, but yeah.
Oh, that was 14.
Should have been 14.
Yeah.
Should have been 14. Should have been probably 15.
But probably should have been more with Aaron, but it is what it is.
And there's probably some listeners, maybe don't go too on this, but there's probably some people that are like, oh, that's back when there was like no teams in the league.
Yeah.
You talk 13.
If
we're making that argument, then take away about 12 of the 17 from the Boston Celtics, because all of their wins, there were 8 teams in the league, and there were that many in when the Packers got theirs in the 20s and 60s and stuff like that. So all legitimate or all invalid. So either the Celtics need to rip down some banners.
If you diluted the NBA into 8 teams, every team would be supreme.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
if you consolidated?
Whittle down? Oh my gosh. The amount of talent on those 8 teams today would be phenomenal. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, even like my whole argument when it comes to like defending the Packers World Championship.
There's no defending. We're awesome. The trophy's named
obviously
after
it's called Titletown, USA, for a reason.
And the trophy's named after our coach.
But it was still called the NFL back then.
Yeah.
So what is it called now? The NFL. So technically, we just won a bunch of championships. It's not our fault that
I mean, the first 2 Super Bowls weren't even called the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Even though they were the Super Bowl, they're retroactively been named the Super Bowl. It was the AFL and NFC Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm a Cardinals fan. I have no idea what you're talking about. Championships. Yeah.
Oh man. And that's like, because there's always there's sports town. So obviously Green Bay is sports town, or New York, sports town, I guess. Even though fuck the Mets, sorry.
Yankees.
And the Yankees too.
Yeah, but you don't walk around New York without seeing Yankee.
Yeah, that's true. But you have certain towns that are sports towns. Like Phoenix, I feel are they because you guys got a lot of. You got the Coyotes. You said the Rising.
Phoenix is the Suns.
We're a basketball.
That's the big thing.
Basketball town.
The Cardinals. There's a big Cardinals fan base too.
I love.
They're more fair weather.
But we couldn't even give away tickets. Growing up, we played at our college stadium at ASU
because half the games were outside when it was still 100 degrees.
Professional games were outside.
Yeah, and
you couldn't even give away tickets. We'd show up, be like, "I got 2 extra tickets."
Yeah,
you want tickets? I'm trying to give away 4 tickets.
Yeah,
it was garbage. And the Bidwells even said they wouldn't put money in the team until they got their own stadium.
Yeah,
and they did. Then things kind of turned. But
for
as long, the Gorillas, one of the greatest mascots ever. We have such rich history in basketball.
Yeah,
baseball's newer. Hockey's newer. This town runs on basketball. When it's playoff basketball, every part of this town hypes up.
Okay.
Baseball, you wouldn't even know until maybe they make a pass.
And they're good. The Diamondbacks are good.
They're
nobody's
good
going.
baseball.
I'll show you tonight.
Yeah.
There'll be Braves chanting all day.
Oh, I went. My wife's from Maine, so we went to the.
We're in Maine. Sorry.
In the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
Nearest major city would be Bar Harbor.
Okay, because I have cousins in Sanford. Yeah, Harbor. I have cousins in Sanford, and I have cousins in what's the capital?
Augusta.
There you go. Yeah. So I have cousins in Augusta and in Portland.
I'm flying into Bangor. I was going to say I'm flying into Augusta in less than a month, but Bangor actually.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
So I went to Diamondbacks game against the Red Sox last week, and it was
all Red Sox.
I mean, not all. Don't let her ego run. She's like, this is all the Red Sox fans. I'm like, it's 50-50. It's because I was trying to fight back.
Hey, it could be worse. You guys could be the A's.
Oh.
Yeah, they have
no.
They have 12 people
worse
there.
For now until they go to Las Vegas. I feel so bad for people of Oakland.
Yeah.
You have
you remember football? Remember baseball?
That's all
I'm just kidding.
I mean, I just feel like if they would have done a little bit
Coliseum
more
before it closes.
Side note. I know. I haven't been there either.
I know. I want to go.
If they would have just done a little bit more for them.
I hear tickets are cheap.
Sit anywhere you want.
Yeah, but you probably get a suite. Probably have to pay for your soda though.
Like, are they still checking tickets? Like, when you go to a
Yeah.
section, are they like, this isn't your section?
No, not there, dude.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure Giant Stadium's over there?
Yeah.
Oh, wrong stadium. That's right.
I'll always have a soft spot for the Cardinals though, because I went to the Rose Bowl with my dad when Jake the Snake was, still with Arizona State. And I always felt like, how cool is that? Like, you played for Arizona State, and then you get drafted by the Cardinals.
Pat Tillman, baby.
Yeah, Pat Tillman. Like, honestly, you can't see it because it's an audio thing, but I'm saluting. Salute to Pat Tillman. Like, we're a hero.
Our town in general, because all the sunshine, huge baseball, and big in football, because
for sure
the weather's always playable.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't.
Yet somehow ASU doesn't go to the College World Series anymore. Like, since
baseball,
they were there for a while.
Yeah,
they were like perennial play, like a World Series, playoffs kind of contenders.
And that guy before he started doing steroids.
Been there. I'm just kidding.
Reggie.
Yeah, I'm
No, I was talking about Bonds.
Yeah. Oh, Barry. Yeah.
I just want to.
Oh, there you go. Oh, are you a Giants fan?
Oh,
big time. He should. To me, he should still be in the Hall of Fame. You still got to be able to hit that fucking, hit that ball.
He gets it.
Yeah.
Unlike
maybe a different section.
It's like Mike Hampton,
like the smoking section.
Like Mike Hampton.
Do you remember Mike Hampton?
Yeah.
He was
like
like
best hitting pitcher ever.
Yeah.
No, I grew up here, so
what's a hitting pitcher?
Spring training.
Yeah.
Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, rest in peace.
Oh, it's all gone. DH.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, growing up out here, all we had was spring training, and then we had the Firebirds, or the Giants AAA team.
Oh, nice.
So my dad's from
Where'd they play?
Tucson, so Wisconsin.
Oh, they did. Wait, where the Giants are?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where they played?
Yes.
Somewhere in that new stadium or something.
Yeah.
One thing I used to love about baseball in general was that back in the day, the All-Star game meant something. Like, it meant like home field in the World Series and stuff like that. And then they took that shit away. I was like, fuck off.
Yeah, that was only for a little bit.
But I disagree with that because I didn't like that.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I just like that it meant something because All-Star games don't mean anything.
I don't care if it means something.
Yeah.
If it does mean something, then you can't say you have to take a Royal. You have to take a Brewer.
Yeah.
You have to take these crappy teams.
That's true.
What they should do is, like, if it means something, it's like accumulate the best and get out there and get it.
Yeah.
But it's, you're going to play for like one at bat and you're going to pitch for one inning. And it's like,
once you start paying people $50 million, $100 million.
Yeah.
Again, any game that doesn't mean anything, or even if it supposedly means something, they're going to be like, just don't throw your arm out.
Yeah. I just felt like it made him try a little bit more.
Pete Rose ended somebody's caur in an All-Star game.
I love Pete Rose, and for him not to be in the Hall of Fame is a travesty.
We actually have his betting tips for tonight. Let me give you the line that Pete Rose sent me.
There we go.
I got his autograph. I got his autograph off of bets in Vegas.
Oh shit!
So he was sitting there doing, signing.
No way.
And we
go signing.
Oh yeah, for money. He needs it. That's a true story. Me and my buddies go for March Madness tournament, and I go, Pete Rose here. I want to get his autograph. I won't pay for it, but I'll gamble for it. So I did like the first of 15 for all these games, which were clearly going to do it. So your margin's real small.
Yeah.
So I threw like $100 on like, Kansas to first 15, and then you get a $8 payout. But I just rolled it over 6 times to get enough money to pay for an autograph bat.
Yeah.
So we finally go in and meet Pete Rose. He's sitting there at his table.
Wait, so you gambled to get Pete Rose?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I did.
There's no more appropriate.
That might be one of the best stories I've ever heard on this show.
And he sits there and he's got his little like horse betting on his tablet with like just a roll of cash.
Really?
Like,
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking love it.
And I'm like, this is the most authentic autograph I'm going to get.
Yeah.
The most amazing thing about that is he didn't pick that habit up until he started coaching.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, right after.
Man, when that addiction hits, it just
Not
hits.
my team, of course.
No, we got to, me and my buddy who drove out this morning, like I think we took off around 3:30 in the morning, got to, was it Ehrenberg? At the Flying Jet where the Wendy's is over there, like on State Line. I put in my first bet. As soon as I parked right there.
Wait, does California not have gambling yet?
No. We're run by this one German guy named Hitler. I'm just kidding. Sure.
Wait,
I'll bleep that out after.
Wait, but California doesn't have gambling?
No.
Oh.
No, as I said, we're run by a bunch of Nazis.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No fun here.
Yeah. Oh, there's no fun in California. Can't do anything anymore.
You guys got weed before we did.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's
I did that stuff when I was like in like when I was like a kid. Like I did when I was not like in high school. I had my Gandalf pipe and everything.
That was my greatest.
I was a huge nerd.
I had a buddy that was in New York, and they were watching the Mets Dodgers play.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, they're playing the Dodgers. What should I do to like haze them?" And they just traded for Joey Gallo.
Oh shit!
And I was just typing a bunch of shit just to say to him, say this one. And he goes, "Dude, the crowd loved it." And it goes, "Joey, don't you know LA has a strict 3-strike policy all the time?" And he's like, "Dude, they're dying."
Might as well be Trevor Bauer at that point.
Oh my god!
He's in the minor leagues in Japan now.
Yeah.
Imagine getting demoted in Japan.
Yeah, going over there and getting
demoted.
Yeah, he got demoted.
No, he did not.
He was
He
getting
had like
roped.
an 8 ERA and like 3 stars.
He was getting roped.
Yeah. And like 6 innings.
His choking hand's weak.
Yeah.
Loud at practice. It was like, well, I knew it was going to go one or two ways. I'm like, he's going to go over there and he's going to pitch well. And then somebody's going to be like, you know what, we could use a pitcher.
He realized that egg was bigger than a baseball.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck that guy.
We're going to go to Vegas anyway. No one cares in Vegas.
Yeah.
Take it back to beer. My friend Jenny from Dovetail, she went to Japan to see baseball. JP is one of the biggest baseball fans that I know. And
that's cool.
And Dovetail makes some of the best freaking lagers in the country. So if you're anywhere near Chicago, they're fantastic.
Okay.
She was like, you know, I scheduled all these games, and she's taking a train around Japan to go see this stuff. She's like, it's gonna suck if I have to cancel a game because Trevor fucking Bauer is pitching, because she's like, I'm not going to see that guy pitch. And I'm just like, that's fair. And like, like I was like texting her, and she's like, oh no, he's not pitching. I'm like, okay, good, because she's like, I booked to see stadiums and see teams, you know. And she's like, I didn't know, you know, if I would end up crossing paths with Trevor Bauer. And I'm like, oh, that would be a bummer. But she didn't get them. But shout out to Dovetail's Lagers; they're delightful.
That's cool. And you said they're in Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fantastic beer.
I'd love to be able to. I actually have. I did an episode it was like a month ago with just because I like to do it too, like with like beer influencers on Instagram, just to be able to like talk about almost like I kind of equate it to like Anthony Bourdain. Like if you're going to go to this city, go hit these places that not like the touristy places are gonna, like, not just the touristy places, but like where you can find the little mom and pops kind of places, because those are the ones I want everybody to support, stuff like that. So to me, like, I think they were the people that I had on were from Elmhurst.
Okay, so out of the city, but I'm not good out of the city as much, but there's a lot of good beer there.
Yeah. So I do want to do the locals only segment before we finish up, but I always ask any brewer, have you ever had a stuck mash?
Yeah. Sure.
That might be the best response, because most people say like, oh, I maybe had one. But you were like, yeah, of course I did.
No, stuck mash, and then you have Filibertos.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, no, I mean, it happens. We just had one. Well, I didn't do that one, so I won't call anything out. But I've had, it's usually like an adjunct issue, or our other system at Gilbert, the 10 barrel doesn't have rakes. Yeah. So you get like a little cheeky and try and over stuff. Like basically if we ever brew any of these like barrel aged ones, like first couple times we tried to, you know, like do single mashes. Yeah. You know, and it was just like, this is like our efficiency's in the 60%, might not even be fully stuck, but it's trash. Yeah. So then you end up doing 2 mashes into a single boil just to make it more like possible in that system. But you use a bunch of adjunct
rice hulls.
Rice hulls, but if you don't use enough or you mix it wrong or something, it happens.
Yeah. I wanted to tell you because you talked about that part of the stuck mash or using a rake or anything like that. There was a brewery that I recorded with just before I changed the name to the tap room and all that sort of
Anybody
stuff.
that says it doesn't have a stuck mash though before is a liar.
Oh yeah. But the guy, he said he didn't have a rig, so when he first started brewing, he had to use a 3-iron, so he named his brewery 3-Iron Brewing. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like it'll mix well.
Yeah.
I mean, usually like ore, you have that black ore up
Yeah.
on the top of that deck.
Yeah.
That thing is a godsend. But yeah, no, they like this system has rakes in it. You can usually agitate enough. Although we've stuck stuff here. We one of our guys we were making a whiskey base for our distillery.
Oh shit.
And they did like a 60% rye base and like got a barrel or two out of it. Even with rakes, it just turned it. That was not my idea, but it was just concrete at the bottom.
Dang.
But it happens. I mean, get the right conditions, use a bunch of rice or corn,
Yeah. I've taken 2 homebrew classes, and everybody says like rice hulls are everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they help.
Keeps you loose, if you know what I mean.
Yep. I mean we make a rice lager.
I got a pop out of Cale there, but he didn't get it on the mic.
We make a rice lager, and so there's a bunch of we actually won a medal for it. It's called Sudoku.
Oh, awesome.
It's in the 40% rice range.
Yeah.
And buying rice and then buying rice hulls feels like you're getting cheated because these things were together at one point, and then you separated them and sold them to me twice.
Yeah.
Like, who's the real wizard here? BSG, crafty devils. I'm like, give me the rice together next time.
Well, looks like that.
I mean, I know why that's the case, but
was it Mahatma? It was like one of the big rice makers.
Yeah,
probably. I don't know. The only reason I know that because my grandma's Japanese. So
nice. Yeah, you could do like the cereal cooking on the side, but if you get like the already puffed like jasmine rice, like they have to separate it. But still, it's like, wait a minute. So I'm buying rice hulls and rice. This seems like I'm getting robbed here.
But we won an award, so
that's awesome.
What was it? Silver
at JBF.
That's freaking awesome.
3 years.
Like the American Beers Festival.
Yeah,
nice.
That one was
ginger, lemongrass, rice lager.
Ooh.
Ginger, lemongrass, and jasmine monkey king green tea, which is a grading scale of green tea.
Ooh, that sounds phenomenal.
It's one of the more laborious brew days because of all that stuff is essentially hot side.
Yeah.
But it is like 4.2% and a great drinker.
Yeah.
It's like I could drink cases.
There you go.
Delightful beer.
37 beers on the golf course.
Laboratory. I feel like you should have a beer called Laborious. Well, I was right. Remember Dexter's?
Yeah.
I was literally thinking
you should do like Hopster's Laboratory.
If you can do something like that or a Johnny Bravo thing. I'm down.
I love Johnny.
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane wrote on Johnny Bravo. I didn't know that.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh fuck! I love that. When he go, banger. One of my favorite cartoons of all time. You and I, Cale, were talking earlier because I was showing you the Ninja Turtles. Like, the Ninja Turtles was my shit. But I got to ask, who's your favorite turtle?
Who do you think my favorite turtle is?
Michelangelo.
I'm going to say Raph.
No.
Okay, so I'm Raph. Like, I love because, everybody, my buddy outside, well, my best friend, known him for 25 years, he likes Leo. I call Leo a little bitch. I'm sorry. Like, Leo's like the Boy Scout, and Raph's like, Leo's like, we need a plan. Raph's like, let's fucking go. Like in the first Ninja Turtles movie, like Raph fights like 50 guys on the roof.
Yeah.
By
himself. Mike just wants pizza. He's cool.
Oh, I love Mikey.
Yeah.
If I had to rank him, it's Raph, Mikey, Donnie, then Leo.
Are you talking about the New Kids on the Block? Or?
Yeah, exactly. Bingo.
Jonas Brothers.
That's the one. Well, yeah, I love the
Turtles. Yeah. Ninja Turtles, soft spot in my heart.
And growing up too was like down to like X-Men cartoons or Spider-Man or Batman. Who didn't love Batman? Star Wars, huge Star Wars nerd.
Star Wars,
yeah, big time.
I got married on May 4th.
Oh well,
but not for that reason.
Yeah, but she didn't think anyone would know.
Yeah,
that's the only way.
I just like looking at dates, and Nicole's like, my wife's like like, oh, what about May 4th? And I'm like,
Bingo.
I'm like,
Sure.
May the 4th. And she's like, what? She's never seen a Star Wars movie.
She's never once.
Never seen one.
And why he married her.
Yeah.
I mean, I know why.
Yeah, she's awesome. But she's like, nobody's going to think of that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I beg to disagree.
That's the only reason I know when
Everybody.
the anniversary because I'm like, May the 4th.
she's like, nobody's going to think of that. And we got married, like, and we had like a year before, like, when we started planning it. And I would tell people, I'm like, oh, we're getting May the 4th, you know, and my friends would be like, oh, May the 4th be with you. And I'd be like kicking them. I'm like,
Yeah.
like, she's
She
like,
doesn't know.
she's like, no, that was a weekend that worked out for her. Like,
Just waiting for R2 to bring the rings down.
I did ask her before. I was like, so let's say I'm in like full stormtrooper outfit or something.
Yeah.
She's like, no, just turn around and walk back up the aisle. We're not getting married.
Hey, it's black
Fair.
and white. It's
I'm
like,
like,
black tie.
okay, so you're not an Empire person. But what if I
Solo leather jacket?
Exactly.
I mean, like, you know, he's a good looking
She,
dude.
she can come down. Hey, Leia does wear white.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
I got a good Wookiee.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, jeez. Before we do finish the show, though, I mean, thank you again for doing this. But I always do the locals only. Like, if I could hear about some of your favorite spots in, obviously Phoenix is a huge city. Like per capita, it's like one of the largest. What, the 5th largest city you said?
Yeah, I think 6th largest city.
Yeah.
We just like surpassed Philly, but it's been like back and forth.
Yeah.
It's like in that range, but I think they're continuously now above
Okay.
Philly.
Yeah, so if you guys can tell me like Cale, you can start if you want to do like favorite spots, so like just favorite places to go, like whether it's an eatery, bar, or and I always have to ask like because I love hamburgers. So what's the best burger in
Harvey's.
Phoenix?
Yeah. I was just going to say, you want a dive bar? I got it.
Harvey's wine burger.
Yeah.
Nice. What kind of style is this? Like a thicker burger, smash burger?
No, it's a thicker burger, but it's cooked in wine.
Oh,
But it's delicious.
Dive bar, just everything you want.
Yeah.
So you're there just being yourself. I'm a dive bar kind of person anyway.
Same.
I'm from Milwaukee. That's the only thing I was raised on.
Yeah.
But yeah, Harvey's Wine Burger is like pretty legit burger wise.
Okay.
And it's kind of on your way to the stadium. So if you're hungry,
awesome.
Or afterwards.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It gets better or
they're
worse
open
late
late,
night.
yeah.
Yeah. Like sometimes I get some bad ones late night, but they're delicious when done right.
Yeah.
Definitely Harvey's. I just went to Reyes de la Torta.
Oh,
so
nice.
if you're down with tortas, dude,
okay,
it's like a no joke.
Yeah.
Like, it's
big old monster,
dude.
I love it.
Legit.
I love it.
We won't get into the pizza arguments, but Pizzeria Bianco is
it's world
rated
famous.
one.
I've heard about that one. Yeah, Portnoy did an interview.
Yeah, it's a Neapolitan style.
Yeah,
but you'd have to make reservations. I got quoted last time I went. I had a buddy from England, but he's living in Canada. We went. They gave us a 5-hour wait time, which was an hour past their close.
Just to pick up a pie.
Just to go enjoy that.
Oh,
he wanted to go. Like, all right, we'll go by. It's like, oh, it'll be 5 hours. They're like,
damn,
all right, we'll be back.
Yeah, you can get it. You mean there's a like house next door that you can like if you go before like the prime hit. Funny thing about Harvey's, I'll use it. Or I mean, not Harvey. Yeah, Harvey's Weinberger. I'll use this as a segue into one of the better breweries here, Wren House. A bunch of my friends work there. They make some fantastic beer here.
Yeah.
And one of their brewers, Matt, like the day he moved here from Virginia, take a job, they took him to Harvey's, like the Weinberger spot, like which is in the same vicinity. And he's like, it's like that was the first place they took me. Like I landed at the airport, and Akil's like, "Yo, we're gonna go to this place and get a fucking great burger." And they went to Harvey's. And so like you can hit Wren House, which makes awesome beer, and Harvey's Weinberger, like right in the same.
But if you're gonna swim by an Ohso and you want the best wings in the state by far, JT's is right there.
JT's wings.
Although
Dirty Drummer does some good wings too.
They do good wings. They don't do.
They're better now. They're
JT better.
Yeah, honestly, like they're in the discussion.
We're doing it.
We're in the discussion. They're in the discussion
it's
now.
It's not a discussion.
They're in the discussion.
JT's wrote the book, and everyone else trying to follow the book.
I'm telling
I'll
you,
be the moderator in this debate if you guys want to.
I'm telling you, they're like in the. I would never let anything even enter the JT's discussion, but I've had some.
You just did.
I know, but I'm telling you, was progress.
So both of these are also dive bars.
Yes.
I love it though. When you mentioned Harvey's, I don't know why it went this way. I don't know if you guys are like, I was born in '87, but I grew up watching Boy Meets World.
Sure.
And it made me think of Chubby's. Like, remember, like the place that they would go to? It just
We have
reminded me.
Chubby's here.
Yeah. You guys have a Chubby's here?
Yeah, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, we did.
Sure.
Yeah.
Over in Old Town.
Chubby's?
Yeah.
Chubby's? Oh, or Chevy's.
Oh, I said Chubby's. Yeah, sorry.
Chubby's.
We have Chevy's. But
Used to have a Fuddruckers over there.
Oh, Fuddruckers. Oh, as a kid, the cheese fries,
I get a
fries,
hot
the
dog.
burgers. Dude, I would get the bacon hot, like the hot dog. Add 2 strips of bacon. Game over.
I just want that whole bar of
Yeah.
toppings.
What else is delish?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, anything to be able to promote. That's what I love to do. Like, if you're gonna be in this area, this is where you go.
Why?
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
rattle off breweries while you think.
Bingo.
So Wren House is great. What's it called?
Is Bonehouse any good?
Bonehouse?
What
Yeah.
else? Fountain Hills.
Yeah.
They're kind of.
Walter Station was the one I was trying to think of, but my brain was not working.
Yeah.
Simple
Baja Girls.
Machine makes
Baja
good-
Girls, one of my favorite beers by Walter, and that's the
Okay.
Twisted Lager.
Oh,
That
nice.
beer.
Simple Machine makes some good beer.
Awesome.
Lake Pleasant is one of the newer ones that I was actually pretty happy about.
Kinsune's up the street.
Yeah, Kitsune.
That's
They have one of those things that when you like them and unlike them on Instagram, when you like them on Instagram, they have like a little like live dial that turns.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah, Greenwood has one too.
Greenwood.
And I sat like anytime I see those, I just sit there and liking and unliking them on Instagram
as
to watch because it ticks in real time.
It goes
Wow.
back and forth,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
when Matt and I were at
Greenwood?
Kitsune, I was like, I messaged him afterwards, and I'm like, sorry if you got a bunch of notifications of people like it. I'm like, if it makes you feel any better, I told everyone at the
Just
bar to
me.
like your thing, but it was also me and Matt just liking and unliking your
Yeah.
brewery to watch the thing tick down because it goes through all the numbers. So if you have like 4,000, 5,000,
Yeah, because
10,000,
it almost looks
it's
like a little pitch counter. Yeah.
yeah, and then it goes. It's like the old European like train terminal
Yeah.
things. It just I'd say okay. So Kitsune's good.
Well, he mentioned Greenwood. That's like a woman-owned brewery.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
awesome.
downtown.
It's another
Love
one,
that.
100 Mile. That's at
Yep.
least 2.
So downtown there though by Greenwood, there's also a Wilderness location that's good, and they're Arizona Wilderness.
Pedal House.
Yeah, Pedal House. Pedal House is their head brewer is this guy named Derek Osborne.
Oh.
He, speaking of coming from other industries, he was
Yeah.
a chiropractor,
Oh,
but
shit.
has been he was
He's
the-
breaking backs, dude.
Yeah.
he was
With
the
this shit.
R&D
It's good.
guy for BJ's for years,
Damn.
and then went on to open be the head brewer, like minority owner of Pedal House.
Wow.
He's probably the most knowledgeable brewer in the state. Like
That's awesome.
his beer is fantastic. So Pedal House is awesome.
Yeah.
His wife,
I was just going to ask. And we're back.
Yeah, and Kitsune Tyler's like the first, black beer owner in the state, which
That's
is
awesome.
crazy. Yeah, but it's just crazy. You just don't think about those things, and then when you
Yeah.
hear the stat, you're just like, what the fuck? Why?
Yeah.
But it's like awesome to be able to, bring him to
For sure.
a level that I don't know. Beer's got many colors.
Oh, yo.
So you think
of
that,
course, yeah.
but
That's what we're saying. Like, it should, like, it with the craft beer community, it's kind of like, every you reach out to somebody, most of the time they reach out, they send something back. Like, I think it was 2 months ago, I was talking with the lady. She's owner and head brewer of Poly Rhythm Brewing in Edmonton, in Canada. And her name's Chelsea Tessier. One of the sweetest women I've ever met in my life. And she's maybe like 28, 29, maybe. Like, we say you're not supposed to say a woman's age, but I think it's like around there. I'm just guessing because she looks super young, but super sweet. She was like, yeah, like one day I got a Mr. Beer Kit, Mr.
Mr.
Beer Kit, whatever it is. Tried that, was just like, oh, that's pretty good. And then, eventually just kind of,
the original brewers were
Yeah.
women.
yeah.
It's, that was the original brewers. They were women.
Yeah.
Marissa, one of my good friends who brews for They're now called Look Cinemas, so it's a movie theater brewery. They're down in Chandler. She's one of the smartest people, and I hate qualifying. It as like a women brewer that's smart. Like she's a brewer that's fucking smart.
You shouldn't have to be.
No,
but I mean, like
in town.
She's awesome.
She knows her shit.
That's awesome.
Let's see, Tucson Dragoon's awesome.
Crooked
Pueblo
Tooth
Vita
is awesome.
Crooked Tooth. Flagstaff Dark Sky is awesome.
I went to Dark Sky when I was they're in Flagstaff, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I went there in Mother Road.
Yeah, Mother Road.
Lumberyard.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lumberyard went there too.
They're just small. It's a smaller town up there, so there's a handful.
Yeah. My cousin has a place up in Munns, so we would drive up to Flagstaff periodically when I would go visit him in Munns.
Exit 333.
Yeah.
Munns Park.
Sedona Beer Cove.
Right never been there, so definitely want to check that out.
I mean, there's a ton of good breweries, and there's some, it's good places to eat and follow. There's a spot up here in Scottsdale called Hush, which is just local. It's an awesome chef, Dom. I actually went to high school with him, but I mean, he's what's the dish of the day. So I mean, if you're looking for,
he's got another spot across the street here.
Yeah, Fire at Will.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's called Fire at Will.
Fire at Will's over here.
That.
It's a big military guy. Then he owns a tap room. That was kind of his contingency for COVID. Is I could sell burgers and I could sell beer now.
That's cool.
So I mean, he's grown, but he's one of the very intimidating. He's just big, but he's like one of the sweetest guys, and he knows flavor profile, which is good for beer. Cool. I mean, these guys talk to our chefs here in house.
They're the best, honestly, to talk to. I think, like when you like all of us beer people, we fall into the vernacular of like, oh, what is this? This hopped, danky, resinous cat piss, all this shit that we all say, because it's the same as wine. You fall into this like tobacco, whatever. Like, oh, beer as sweaty horse blanket, all this shit. But if you talk to our chefs, because we all know what flavor profiles are and we know what taste is, but if you don't have the default like vocabulary, it's some of the more honest answers. Yeah. Because you get somebody's like, oh, I taste this, and you're like, oh, I know what you're talking about. You're referring to this in the beer, but you're calling it something different because you're thinking food terms. And it's the same way as in the kitchen. They all default to their food terms, but it's like hearing it in the cross section. You have people that are trained as far as the palate, and the words are different, but that actually makes it more useful. Yeah, because we just default to like, oh, this is strawberry, this mango, like blah blah blah. And it's like, I know you're talking strawberry, you're talking about mosaic.
That's why I love beer education so much too, because like especially like when beer tenders really get into that aspect of it, because if you can walk into a place and you'd be like, oh, what are you into? Like, oh, I'm into this. Like, oh, then I would say I would recommend this. I love that aspect of it. Like when you walk into a brewery and they can kind of recommend something for you.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Because I mean, there's times where like you walk into a place, you're like,
wow. Dude, that's
not only
sales 101. Like, if you don't know what you want, and I talk to you and I could figure out what you want, you're like, I love this beer, but I won you. I can sell you the rest of the night.
They're going to keep coming back.
Yeah. But not only that, I think absolutely what you guys said. I think maybe the most important thing, because we get some of the gateway craft beer drinkers at Ohso, because we also do we have a restaurant attached. We have a huge brunch crowd.
Family
we have people that come in
friendly.
for mimosas and Bloody Marys that aren't drinking beer.
Yeah.
But if you can give me an adjacent style to one that I'm used to drinking, it is like, just think of when we talked about earlier, going from your dad's light beer to when you first drank like a Hefeweizen or something.
100%.
Like if you can get like a beer adjacent style where somebody is like, oh, I like light beer, and you're like, well, try this amber lager that's this, and like you brought up Guinness before. People look at that and they think of it as a dark beer and heavy and cumbersome, but it is very much the opposite of that. It is a light beer that has a dark color. So like when I say to like our beer, like our bartenders or servers, It's like if you can recommend an adjacent style and open up a whole new world of beer, you become a trusted resource.
Exactly.
It's such an incredible thing to do. Be like, I know you're used to drinking this, but like,
Maybe
here's this beer. Here's this beer. I'll sell you this pint, and it's going to hit exactly what you want. But also try a sample of this. And like, it is such a crazy, like, that eye-opening experience. You might get a person that likes only wine, and you give them some sort of like wild or sour beer that makes them go like, I don't like beer, but like, holy shit, this is like, gives me that hard acidic
That's what I would do when I would bartend is I would tell people who like, I don't drink IPAs. I'd be like, I'm busy. Here, try one of these. I give them like 6 different samples.
Yeah.
And they would be like, oh, I really like this one. I go, I gave you all IPAs. Are you kidding? And it would just blow their mind. And they're just like, oh my gosh, I love this one. Be like,
they found their
you just found one there's a beer out there for everybody, right?
First it's free.
Yeah.
And that's the sample cup.
The sample cup. Now I got you.
Now
and they'll still come in here and I walk through.
Because it's not just
they'll just say,
obviously the beer's amazing. The beers that I've had today are freaking great. Like this, like the pop cycle, the generally.
Dude, you haven't had these, man.
I know, and I'm looking forward to trying
Mexican chocolate stout, aged in mezcal and bourbon.
So down for that. Woo! But even like this, also
2 bites in every can.
This kick ALS one, it was. Both of these were amazing, and this one was obviously the cause as well. But you get that berry pop on the end, and one thing my brother, like, because I was always into craft beer, but he got me more into craft beer when he started working for Brewery X.
Oh, you were really?
Yeah, my brother works there. Yeah, he does I'll show you some stuff after.
Shout out to Kyle Januzzi.
Oh yeah. So when he would kind of got me more into it, like I was like, if you're putting like say like acai berry or guava or passion fruit or whatever, you're putting that flavor on the can. To me, it better fucking taste like it. And this right here pops. Yeah, it fucking pops. And then like I didn't score it, but I would say that's a big fucking fat 10 for me.
Thanks.
So
I was promised a year ago that the Brewery X was going to be in the market, and it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
He's got a steel trap up there.
Yeah.
It's not a steel trap. But I just know some of those guys. But
yeah, no, I got some stuff I'll show you after. Hopefully my brother doesn't listen to this because he's like, you can't. He's it's not how. Yeah, you can't show it yet, but it'll be fine.
It's awesome.
Good pizza on that patio too.
Oh, their pizza is like
Michelangelo,
phenomenal. Yeah, you kind of just want to see that cheese just, cheese pull.
And that facility's huge.
Oh, it's massive.
That's what I said. They want to do a collab. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm sure they would. I mean, they'd probably want to do. They're always, trying to do something. So,
isn't there like a chocolate? Isn't there a chocolate like XO? Like we do an Ohso with an X in front.
I mean, Choco is like a Spanish bird.
Yeah, like the Choco Besa. That was like Stone. They would do that all the time because
from that term.
Yeah, he worked for Stone before he went to Brewery X. And,
Kyle worked at Brewery before he went there.
Freaking Brewery X just like poached, went and got they got people from like Pizza Port, they got people from the brewery, they got people from Stone. Well, they got a lot of great stuff, but this has been so fun for me, guys.
No, yeah, dude. I mean, if anybody doesn't open their doors, they're losing out.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you being here.
Yeah,
letting us just have some beers, talking shop, and
honestly, like it's just making like to me, it's just creating a friendship. Like because I come out here usually twice a year.
Yeah.
So I'd fucking love to come down again. I always come like the first weekend of playoff football or NFL football. So I want to come out again. We can do something again, and maybe hopefully I get my brother out here. We can
get a mobile kit. We can brewery hop.
There you go.
If you have like a mobile setup where we can just like, all right now we're at this place.
I do have a lapel mic that I just take because I'd love to.
Does it squirt water out of it?
Oh yeah, just
like a flower,
like freaking the Joker. I love that.
Acid.
Yeah, but thank you guys again. We'll continue to talk after this, but I want to say thank you guys, and I appreciate you guys opening up your doors to me and
thanks for coming
for the beers and stuff.
Oh, fuck yeah! Thank you.
Yeah. So everybody, say think to yourselves, say thank you to Josh and Cale, and stay tuned.
OhsoBrewery.com, OHSOBrewery.com.
Bingo. I love how you stuck that in there. And stay tuned for the Bro Code article of the week.
Do I have to put my shoes on?
Nah, you're fine.
Name's Richard. I've been with Ohso for 6 years, I think. Been brewing for 4. Favorite beer we make consistently is probably Ale Ale. Tougher to common.
Awesome. All right. My name's Dylan. I've been working for Ohso for almost 8 years, 8 years in August. Probably my favorite beer that we do year round is Campy, but the thing I like the most that we do is Sudoku when we release it throughout the year. Awesome.
Hi, my name is Mark DeMello. I'm the bar manager here at Ohso PV. Favorite beer here is Flock Boys Dank and Confused.
My name is Jackie. I have been working at Ohso for about 5.5 years, and my favorite beer is the Boom Dynamite.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Paul Whelan. I'm sitting here at Ohso at TMNT in Phoenix, Arizona. And I've been coming here probably about 8 years or so. But great location, great service, great bartenders. So just, all around, great place, great beer, obviously, because it's a brewery. And, that's why I come here, pretty much because of the service overall and then the beer and then the people. I mean, I've met great friends over the years. And, I love it here. And they're so nice to me. And I really appreciate it. And I come here 2 or 3 days a week, always. So, I really appreciate it. And, thank you for asking me. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, I had a ton of fun with them. Cale and Josh, awesome people. But we're going to end the episode like we always do with the Bro Code article of the week. And this article is article number 22. Which states, there is no law that prohibits a woman let me start that over again. Article 22. There is no law that prohibits a woman from being a bro. We're all bros. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Stay tuned for the coming weeks. We got some great stuff coming. Y'all take care. Tap.